Hey everybody, welcome to my first video. I'm the Bear Bard, and today I'm bringing you a tale from r/RPG horror stories, titled DM plays a villain little too well and ends up causing party to disband. So I started playing in my first D&D campaign about a year ago. It was my first campaign and I was going to be in my friend's new homebrew he had been making. I was very new, but I was eager to learn and have some fun with my friends, and hopefully make some new ones. And that didn't go so well. There were 5 players in total when the campaign started. I was an Asimar paladin who had been ridiculed by his peers all his life and cast out of his church for not living up to their high standards. And for the rest of the cast, we have my friend who's DM, a Warforged druid, a horny tabaxi bard, who was the problem player number 1, and 2 tieflings. The second problem player being one of them. They were also horny bard. Funny coincidence. And lastly, my other good friend who was a warlock. When we first started, things were great for the most part. We're having a lot of fun, friends were being made as I had hoped, and after a while I even got into a short-lived relationship with the girl who played the Tabaxi Bard. That was mistake number 1. You see, she has a problem with how everyone else is playing their characters most of the time. She, for some reason, has it in her head that you must follow your alignment or you're playing your character wrong. And whenever one person would have the spotlight for too long, to the phone she goes. Now, the second problem player, her friend, was 18 or 19 at the time, but unfortunately has the maturity level of a 14-year-old at best still. And starting out, he hardly said much of anything for the first few sessions, but that was about to change real fast. After the party realizes that my character has been expelled from his church and was ridiculed his whole life for not living up to the high standards that an Asimar paladin would have, Problem Player 2 decides to tease and berate my character every chance he gets. Every single day. Now, I designed my player a lot like how I was back when I was still being bullied and beaten at school. I wanted to play a character who wanted to be accepted by his peers, only to learn that he didn't have to prove anything to them. Basically my real-life character arc, only much more dramatic. Problem Player 2, however, perhaps knowingly, takes it upon himself to be a thorn in my side at every given opportunity, which is fine for the most part, fine but annoying. I'm a grown adult now, and I don't mind it, but my character? Nuh-uh. There was a lot of friction in the party because of that. The player who played the druid, however, who was the heart of the party, he kept us together. But real life caught up to him, and he now had to drop out. It was around this time I broke up with the girl that was playing the Tabaxi Bard. Not D&D related, though. We agreed to leave our feelings out of D&D so we could still play together and everyone have fun. Mistake number 2. Now it was just the 4 of us. By this time in the campaign, we had a Rakshasa who was spying on us, trying to either defeat us or split us up. He unfortunately elected to do the latter. My character was really tired of getting his butt kicked and wanted to become more powerful to give it to the demons and prove his peers wrong about him. And so, the sly Rakshasa found a weak point in our party. He showed up to us and offered my character a magical set of armor. The armor was very obviously cursed. It was inspired by the Berserker armor, so needless to say, it was a gamble to take it. My character, however, wanted the power-up and was willing to trade with him to get it. All he had to do was agree to not get in the Rakshasa's way. It was a ploy just to get the party fighting amongst themselves. Spoiler alert, he succeeded. My paladin promised he'd take the armor and wouldn't bother him. He said it with his fingers behind his back. DM asked for a deception check, natural 20. However, problem players 1 and 2 had a problem with this. You're supposed to be an Asimar. You can't do anything evil. What are you doing? This is basically what I heard from them for the next 20 minutes. Me and my warlock friend argued that you can change alignments and that it's necessary to have character growth. I even told them I was just taking it so I can double cross this guy. They wouldn't have any of it. Finally, arguing for a while, I give up trying to reason with them and just say, I move towards the armor and start putting it on. And wouldn't you know it, they don't do a thing in character to try and stop me. They were so adamant I don't take the armor, they had an OOC discussion about it for 20 minutes, but didn't do a thing in character to stop me. But eventually, I put on the armor and our DM tells me, you feel anger and hatred swirling inside you. You feel like you'll lose control. Roll a wisdom saving throw. I fail. That's mistake number 3. First, I charge at the Rakshasa, who disappears before I strike. Disappointed and still feeling the burning hatred from the armor, I turn from the party and start walking back to the house where we were staying at to cool down. And that's when Problem Player 2 says, "Effing idiot, of course he was going to disappear." Now, DM had told me that I had to start acting angry when I failed my checks. And boy, I'll admit it was pretty easy to do at that point. My character let everything out. He called him an idiot back, said he was never a friend, that he was just using him as a meat shield. In character, mind you, but it was the truth and he took it personally. He stormed away both IRL and in character. After that, my friend, God's bless her, sided with me and told them that if they wanted to stop me, they could have stopped me when I went to go put the armor on. They could have, played the game. But by that point, the bridge was already burned. All of the other problems we had with each other had boiled over into the actual game. The final straw was when they called our DM and asked if they could run separate sessions for the two of them for a while. He politely declined. So that's how our DM accidentally ended our own campaign, not by some climactic boss fight or TPK. Nope, just by playing a sly villain a little too well. TLDR, don't date the Tabaxi girl. And scene. Wow, it's always sad to see groups like this torn apart with drama. You always hope to keep these games fun and relaxing, but unfortunately that's not always the case. I want to thank you guys for joining me on this first episode of Bear Bard Tales. If you had fun listening to this story and want to hear more, go ahead and drop me a like and follow. This is the Bear Bard, and I'll see you next time.